When I was 25 years old, I was broke. I thought money would solve my problems. I thought wealth was just about income, and income was just about effort. But effort without wisdom is like planting in winter. It doesn't matter how hard you try, the season is against you. What I learned and what changed my life is that wealth is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. The shift from scarcity to wealth isn't a change in circumstance, it's a change in systems, in thinking, in identity. It's not about what you want. Everyone wants. The real question is, what are you becoming that makes that wealth inevitable? And that's what I want to share with you today. Not just motivation, but a strategy, a way forward, a shift in your thinking, your habits, your systems, so you no longer hope for wealth, but become the kind of person who attracts it. Let's begin the journey from scarcity to wealth. See, most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their financial education. They know where they're going for the weekend, but don't know where their money's going for the month. And I say, if you want wealth, you've got to treat your self-education like a job. No, like a responsibility, not once in a while. Every day. Consistency is the key. Because growth is not about quantum leaps, it's about daily deposits. And those daily deposits compound over time. The truth is, if you gave $1 million to someone unprepared, they'd lose it. But if you took a millionaire who built their wealth through growth and gave them nothing, they'd build it back. Why? Because money doesn't make you wealthy. Character makes you wealthy. The discipline, the awareness, the ability to think long term. And those things only come from the daily practice of becoming more. So start with you. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wait for opportunity. Become the person who creates it. Because when you become more, life has no choice but to give you more. When I reflect on the journey from scarcity to wealth, one of the hardest lessons I learned was that no matter how much money you make, if your habits are broken, you'll never truly be free. You can't out-earn a broken habit. It's like trying to fill a bucket full of holes. You pour in money, but it just slips right through. The truth is, bad financial habits are the silent thieves of your future. They drain your resources and rob you of the peace that comes from control and clarity. I remember a time in my own life when I was making some progress, yet I kept hitting a ceiling. I was earning more, but somehow never seemed to save enough. I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until I took a hard look at my daily actions that I found the answer: habits. Those tiny unnoticed choices I made each day, impulse buying, ignoring my budget, putting off bills, were sabotaging all my efforts. No amount of income could fix those leaks. It was a wake-up call. The philosophy here is simple. You can't out-earn a broken habit. It doesn't matter if you get a raise, start a business, or win the lottery. If your habits don't change, the money will flow right back out. So what's the strategy? Don't just resist bad habits. Replace them. Trying to resist is like pushing on a wall. It takes effort and often leads to giving up. But replacing one habit with a better one builds momentum and changes your trajectory. Here's what worked for me, and what I recommend to anyone ready to change. Pick one poor money habit you want to break. It might be impulse shopping, paying bills late, or ignoring your savings. Then, find a wealth habit to replace it with. For example, if you catch yourself wanting to shop on impulse, replace that urge with watching a short investing video or reading a few pages of a personal finance book. It sounds small, but these simple swaps rewire your brain and build discipline over time. When I made this shift, it wasn't about willpower. It was about filling my time and attention with better choices. If I replaced idle scrolling on my phone with listening to a podcast on building assets, that moment of temptation turned into an opportunity for growth. And over weeks and months, these moments added up. They built a new financial mindset, one rooted in education and prudence, not instant gratification. Practical steps to make this happen include tracking your habits honestly. Keep a journal or a note on your phone where you write down when you slip into a bad habit and what you did instead. Awareness is key. Once you identify the triggers, stress, boredom, social pressure, You can prepare replacements in advance. Have a list of better activities ready, a 5-minute budgeting check, a quick call to your financial advisor, or even simply pausing to breathe before spending. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You will stumble. But every time you replace a bad habit with a good one, you build resilience and move closer to financial freedom. I once knew a man who said, "I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday." That's the mindset that breaks chains and opens doors. The financial habits you build today will shape your tomorrow. If you want to escape scarcity, start by mastering your habits. Replace the broken with the building, the wasteful with the wise. Because when your habits align with your goals, money ceases to be a struggle and becomes a tool, a servant working for you, not a master controlling you. So today, identify one habit that's holding you back. Then choose a positive action to replace it. It might feel small, but this is how wealth quietly grows. In the small decisions you make consistently, not in sudden windfalls or luck. The journey from scarcity to wealth begins with that one deliberate step. Take it and watch how your life begins to change. I want to share a truth that often gets overlooked. Building wealth isn't reserved for the wealthy. It's not about how much you make, it's about what you do with what you make. You see, the number on your paycheck is only a part of the story. The real story is how you manage that money day in and day out. I've met countless people who made a modest income but ended up far wealthier than those who earned much more. The secret is simple, but profound: discipline and strategy. When I started my journey, my income was limited. I didn't have millions to invest or a big inheritance waiting for me. What I did have was a commitment to mastery. Mastery over my money, habits, and decisions. The philosophy is clear. No matter your income, you can build wealth if you control your spending, save consistently, and invest wisely. The size of your paycheck doesn't dictate your financial destiny, your actions do. Now, the strategy for building wealth with a low income starts with saving. It may sound basic, but saving is the foundation of every fortune. Without saving, investing is impossible. You can't pour from an empty cup. So, begin with what you can, no matter how small it seems. The key is consistency and increasing your savings incrementally. Let me give you a practical example. Start by saving just $1 a day. Yes, just $1. It may feel insignificant at first, but here's the magic. Every week, add one more dollar to your daily savings. So, in week 2, you save $2 a day, week 3, $3 a day, and so on. By the end of the year, this modest habit grows into a substantial amount. And even better, automate this saving so it happens without you having to think about it. This removes temptation and ensures discipline. This approach accomplishes several things. First, it teaches you to live within your means. Second, it creates a growing habit of saving. And third, it prepares you for the next step, investing. Remember, wealth isn't just about hoarding cash. It's about making your money work for you. Once you've built a savings cushion, you can begin to invest, even in small amounts. Over time, the power of compounding turns your humble savings into significant wealth. I once worked with a man who earned barely enough to cover his bills, yet he started saving $5 a week. He didn't see immediate results, but he kept going. 10 years later, that simple discipline gave him financial freedom and the ability to retire comfortably. His income never changed drastically, but his habits did. What I want you to take away is this. Wealth is not a function of income. It's a function of discipline. Start small. Be consistent. Grow your savings bit by bit. Automate your finances to build momentum without stress. And never underestimate the power of time working in your favor. Your financial future depends on the small choices you make today, not on waiting for a raise, a bonus, or a windfall. You can start right now with whatever you have. The journey from scarcity to wealth is paved by small daily actions that add up to big results. Begin this habit of saving, automate it, and watch how steadily your financial foundation strengthens. Your income is not your destiny. Your habits are. Wealth is waiting for those who take control of their money, no matter how modest the start. I want to talk about something that keeps many people trapped: the paycheck to paycheck cycle. You work hard, you get paid, you spend it all, and when the next paycheck is due, you're back at zero. It's exhausting, discouraging, and most importantly, it keeps you stuck. The truth is, if you don't change your system, it doesn't matter how much you earn. You can bring home a big paycheck, but if your habits don't change, you'll still feel poor. It's a painful cycle, but it's one you can break. The philosophy here is straightforward but profound. Income alone won't make you wealthy if your financial system is flawed. If your expenses grow as fast as or faster than your income, you'll never have surplus money to save or invest. The solution isn't to chase bigger paychecks endlessly. It's to build a buffer, a margin between what you earn and what you spend. This buffer acts like a shock absorber for life's unexpected expenses, and it's the foundation for true financial freedom. Let me share from my own experience. Early in life, I found myself living paycheck to paycheck, thinking if only I earned more, all my problems would be solved. But with every raise, the money disappeared as quickly as it came. It was only when I started building a financial buffer that things changed. That buffer gave me confidence, control, and eventually the freedom to pursue bigger goals without fear. The strategy is to build a cushion of cash, an emergency fund that can cover unexpected costs without derailing your finances. This isn't about luxury or extravagance, it's about security. A solid emergency fund breaks the paycheck to paycheck cycle by giving you room to breathe. You're no longer at the mercy of timing between paychecks or surprise expenses. So, how do you start? Here's a practical step that's simple but effective. Save your first $500 emergency fund by cutting back on just one spending category for 30 days. Maybe it's dining out, your daily coffee, subscription services, or entertainment. Pick one area where you can make a noticeable cut without feeling deprived. The key is focus and discipline. For example, if you usually spend $50 a week on eating out, cutting that for a month could save you around $200. Combine that with cutting another small category and you'll be on your way to $500 in no time. It's not about a radical lifestyle overhaul, but smart prioritization. This small financial discipline teaches you control and, more importantly, creates a habit of saving. Once you hit that $500 mark, don't spend it. Let it sit untouched as your safety net. That fund is your shield against emergencies like car repairs, medical bills, or an unexpected job loss. Having it changes your mindset because you're no longer living on the edge, worried about what happens if an emergency hits. Instead, you're prepared. Building this buffer is the first step toward financial independence. With that safety net in place, you can start thinking beyond survival. You can plan, invest, and grow your wealth. Remember, every financial journey starts with security. You can't build a strong house without a solid foundation, and that foundation is your emergency fund. Some may say $500 isn't enough. And that's true, it's only a start. But breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle begins with small, achievable steps. After your initial $500, aim to build it up to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. But never underestimate the power of starting small. I've seen people transform their financial lives by taking this first step. The other benefit of this approach is psychological. When you save that initial fund by cutting one category, you gain confidence in your ability to manage money. You realize saving isn't about sacrifice, it's about choice. This confidence motivates you to keep going, to save more, to take control of your financial future. To break free from paycheck to paycheck living, you must stop waiting for perfect conditions. The perfect time to start saving is now with whatever you can manage. Even a small, focused effort builds momentum. This momentum changes habits, and over time, habits change your life. In the end, the paycheck to paycheck cycle is a symptom of a system problem. Fix the system by creating a buffer between income and expenses, and you'll find that your income, no matter the size, starts working for you, not against you. That's where wealth begins. So I challenge you, pick one spending category, cut it for the next 30 days, and watch how fast your emergency fund grows. Make this your commitment today, because breaking free from scarcity is the first step on your path to abundance. Remember, wealth is not just about how much you earn. It's about how well you manage, protect, and grow what you have. Your journey away from scarcity starts with a single step. Build that buffer, and the rest will follow. When I talk about wealth, I often remind people that it's not a sudden event or a lucky break that makes a lasting difference. It's the daily disciplines, the routines we build and live by day after day. Wealth is a product of small, consistent actions repeated over time. The philosophy is simple but powerful. Daily disciplines determine destiny. If you want to change your financial future, you need to start by changing what you do every single day. Think about it like this. Your day is made up of countless small moments, and how you spend those moments determines where you end up. It's easy to get caught up in chasing big goals, but goals without habits and systems are fleeting. The secret to lasting wealth is creating a routine, something so natural, so automatic that you don't have to rely on willpower or motivation. It's there, a part of who you are. Building a wealth routine isn't complicated. It doesn't require hours of work or complicated systems. It's about carving out a small, focused time each day to manage your finances and grow your financial knowledge. The strategy is to design a repeatable habit, something you can do every morning when you wake up or every evening before you sleep. This routine keeps your money matters front and center, and it continuously sharpens your financial mindset. Let me share a practical step that anyone can start with immediately. Spend just 15 minutes a day on your wealth routine. Dedicate 5 minutes to reviewing your finances. Look at your budget, check your savings progress, or update your spending tracker. This small moment of awareness helps you stay in control. When you know exactly where your money is going, you make better decisions and avoid unnecessary expenses. Then, spend 10 minutes learning. This could be reading a few pages of a financial book, listening to a podcast about investing, or watching a short video on money management. The key is consistent learning. You don't have to master everything at once. Just build your knowledge day by day. I can't tell you how much this simple practice changed my life. Early on, I committed to daily personal development, and it set me on the path to financial independence. It's about becoming the kind of person who understands money, not just someone who earns it. Over time, these 15-minute daily sessions add up. The small gains compound just like money does. Knowledge leads to better choices lead to better habits, and better habits lead to wealth. This routine trains your mind to think about money wisely rather than impulsively. Some might say, I don't have time, but let me ask you, do you have 15 minutes to spend on distractions, social media, or television? Imagine redirecting just a fraction of that time into your financial growth. It's an investment in yourself that pays off many times over. Another benefit of a wealth routine is it builds confidence. When you regularly review your money and keep learning, you stop feeling overwhelmed or anxious. You become proactive rather than reactive. You take control of your financial life instead of letting it control you. Remember, wealth isn't an accident. It's the result of deliberate daily actions. You can't build a skyscraper without laying brick by brick, and you can't build wealth without building habits one day at a time. This daily routine is your foundation. So I encourage you to start today. Pick your time, morning or evening, and commit to 15 minutes. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and watch how your relationship with money transforms. This small daily discipline will determine your financial destiny far more than any big goal ever will. Build your wealth one day at a time, and wealth will build you in return. Success, especially financial success, is often misunderstood as a result of grand, dramatic actions or sudden windfalls. But let me tell you something I've learned through experience. Success is really about a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. It's like a tiny hinge swinging a massive door. Small actions, repeated consistently, open the biggest opportunities. The philosophy here is straightforward yet profound. Small hinges swing big doors. When you think about the journey to wealth, it's not about one giant leap. It's about the steady daily choices that add up over time. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or create something new every day. Instead, the secret lies in making consistency your advantage. That's where the power is, in showing up, doing the work, and nurturing your habits relentlessly. In my own life, I've seen that those who win financially are not the ones who do the most complicated things, but the ones who master the basics and stick with them. It's the person who saves a little every day, who educates themselves regularly, who watches their spending carefully, and who invests thoughtfully. These simple disciplines, when woven into your daily routine, build a foundation for lasting wealth. Here's a practical step for you to apply this immediately. Choose 3 daily wealth habits. These should be small, manageable actions you can commit to without overwhelming yourself. Maybe it's tracking every expense, reading 5 pages of a book on money, or putting aside a fixed amount in savings. Whatever it is, commit to these 3 habits and don't break the chain for 30 days. Why 30 days? Because it takes time to build a habit. After a month of consistent action, what once felt like effort will start to become automatic. Your mindset shifts and these disciplines become a natural part of your life. The power of this practice is in not letting one day go by without doing those 3 things. That unbroken streak creates momentum that's hard to stop. Imagine the compounding effect of just 3 simple disciplines every day over a year. That's over 1,000 actions dedicated to building your wealth and improving your financial intelligence. The small hinges you swing daily open the door to financial freedom, security, and opportunity. I want to remind you that this is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you might stumble, but the key is to get back on track and keep the chain unbroken. Each day you commit, you're reinforcing the habits that will carry you forward. If you look at any wealthy person's life, you'll find they practice simple disciplines consistently. It's not magic or luck. It's the power of repeated action. You can use this principle to transform your financial story, starting now, by choosing those 3 daily actions that will create your future. Success is waiting for you on the other side of consistency. The small hinges you swing every day will open doors you never thought possible. Keep swinging, keep showing up, and your wealth will grow in ways you never imagined. I've seen many people spend their entire lives chasing money, working hard day after day, only to feel like they're serving their money rather than the other way around. There's a subtle but powerful philosophy that many overlook. Money is a great servant, but a terrible master. When you let money control your decisions, your emotions, and your time, you become a prisoner to it. But when you master the art of making money serve you, your life changes in profound ways. Money should be your tool, your helper, your silent partner in building a life of freedom and opportunity. The moment you start seeing money as your master, you lose control. You trade your time, energy, and peace for dollars that never seem enough. I've been there working long hours, stressed about bills, trying to stretch every penny. It's exhausting. But the breakthrough came when I realized I needed to flip the script. The strategy is simple but powerful. Build systems where your money works harder than you do. This means investing wisely, automating your finances, and creating multiple streams of income. When your money starts to multiply on its own, working quietly in the background, you're no longer chained to a paycheck or the clock. Your money begins to generate wealth while you focus on what truly matters, growing your skills, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying life. From my own journey, one of the most transformational steps I took was setting up automatic investments. I didn't wait to have extra money. Instead, I made investing a non-negotiable part of my financial system. Every payday, a portion of my income moved quietly into accounts designed to grow steadily over time. While I slept, my money worked, accumulating interest, dividends, and growth. This practical step can change your life. Setting up automatic contributions, whether to a retirement fund, an index fund, or a business venture, removes the temptation to spend what you should be saving or investing. It ensures consistency, harnessing the power of compounding over months and years. You don't have to think about it every day. The system handles it for you. Letting money serve you also means being intentional about your spending. Ask yourself before every purchase, is this helping my money work harder? Or am I just trading time for things that don't grow my wealth? When you create a mindset that prioritizes making your money productive, you move from living paycheck to paycheck into a cycle of wealth building. Remember, money is neutral. It doesn't care if you win or lose. The difference lies in how you use it. Make money your servant by building systems that keep it moving and growing. When you achieve this, you step into the role of a true master of your finances. You don't have to work harder. You have to work smarter. Let your money work for you quietly and consistently while you build a life of freedom and purpose. That's when wealth stops being a distant dream and becomes a natural part of your everyday reality. I want you to think for a moment about the difference between income and wealth. Income is something you earn. It's a stream of money flowing into your hands as a result of your work, your time, your effort. But wealth is the river, a powerful, ongoing flow of cash that doesn't depend on you clocking in every day. It's that steady current that nourishes your life even when you're not actively working. Understanding this difference is one of the most important shifts you can make on your journey from scarcity to financial freedom. In my own life, I remember how I once believed that earning a higher paycheck was the ultimate goal. I thought if I just worked harder, maybe took a second job or asked for a raise, I'd finally break free from financial struggle. But time and again I realized that no matter how much I earned, the flow stopped when I stopped working. I was stuck at the mercy of my own labor, and that's when the real lesson came. True wealth is built not just by earning, but by creating or owning assets that pay you repeatedly, like a river that keeps flowing without drying up. So, what does this mean in practice? It means shifting your focus from just earning a paycheck to building cash flow. Cash flow comes from assets, things like rental properties, dividends from stocks, royalties from books or creative work, or businesses that generate steady income. These are the machines you build that keep paying you month after month, whether you're working or resting. The strategy is simple but profound. Create assets that pay you again and again. This might feel intimidating at first, especially if you're used to trading hours for dollars, but the truth is, anyone can start small. You don't need a fortune to begin. You can start by investing in dividend-paying stocks or peer-to-peer lending, or even launching a small side business that brings in regular income. The practical step is this. Find or start something that pays you monthly. It might be a small rental property, a simple online business, or an investment that yields dividends. The key is that it produces income without you having to trade your time directly for money. This is how you build wealth, how you grow your river of income. When you build cash flow, your financial life begins to change. You no longer feel trapped by the need to work every hour just to pay bills. You start to experience true financial freedom where your money works for you, creating options and opportunities you never had before. This is the secret many wealthy people follow, yet so few understand. Remember, income can come and go, but cash flow, when built right, creates lasting wealth. Don't just earn, build the systems and assets that keep the money flowing toward you. That's the difference between working for money and having money work for you. Let me share something that has been a turning point in my understanding of money. Money grows where attention goes. It's a simple phrase, yet it holds a profound truth about how wealth is created and preserved. When you neglect your finances, when you ignore the details of your spending and saving, money leaks out like water through a cracked pipe. But when you give your finances the attention they deserve, when you manage them with care and intention, you begin to see growth, stability, and opportunity. Think about it. Most people treat their money like an afterthought. They spend without tracking, they borrow without planning, and they ignore the small leaks that add up to big losses over time. But money, much like a business, requires management. You wouldn't run a business without looking at the books regularly, would you? Your personal finances deserve the same discipline and focus. In my early days, I didn't pay much attention to where my money went. It was only when I started reviewing my bank statements weekly, carefully examining every expense, that I began to understand my financial habits. I discovered small, unnecessary expenses that were draining my resources, subscriptions I forgot I had, impulsive purchases that added up, and recurring fees I never questioned. By simply spotting these patterns, I was able to plug the leaks and redirect that money towards savings and investments. The philosophy here is clear. Attention is the fertilizer of wealth. Where you place your focus is where your resources will grow. If you want to grow your wealth, you must treat your money like a business asset. That means setting aside time each week to review your finances, understand your spending habits, and make adjustments where necessary. Your practical step is straightforward. Commit to reviewing your bank statements weekly. Don't just glance over them, study them, look for patterns. Identify where money is leaving unnecessarily and take action to stop it. This simple habit, done consistently, can transform your financial picture over time. Remember, money isn't just about how much you make, it's about how well you manage what you have. Give your finances the attention they deserve and watch how your money begins to grow where your attention goes. When I reflect on the journey from earning a paycheck to truly owning wealth, I realize it is one of the most crucial shifts a person can make. The difference between the wealthy and those who remain stuck in financial struggle isn't merely about how much money comes in. It's about the relationship with what you own and what you control. The wealthy own assets. The rest rent their lives away. This distinction is fundamental, and understanding it can change your financial future forever. Early in life, I was like many people, trading time for dollars, exchanging labor for income. It was honest work, but I quickly noticed that the moment I stopped working, the money stopped flowing. If I wanted to make more, I had to work more. It felt like a treadmill going nowhere fast. This is the trap many fall into, thinking that earning more will solve their problems, but without ownership, that income remains fleeting. The philosophy here is clear. True wealth comes from ownership, not just earning. When you own assets, whether it's shares of a company, real estate, or a product that generates income, you create financial engines that work for you. These assets generate cash flow even when you're not actively working. It's the shift from labor to leverage. Making this transition requires a change in mindset and strategy. Instead of focusing solely on your paycheck, you must turn your attention to accumulating assets that produce income. This might sound daunting at first, but it starts with small, deliberate steps. The goal is to move from being an employee or service provider to becoming an owner. One practical step is to purchase your first share of stock or invest in a simple income-generating asset. This could be a small piece of land, a rental property, or even a digital product like an ebook or an online course that you create or invest in. The key is to own something that can earn money for you, independent of your daily efforts. I remember when I bought my first investment property. It wasn't grand or expensive, but it was mine. That moment marked a shift in my thinking. I was no longer solely dependent on a paycheck. I was building a portfolio of income streams. It required discipline, saving, learning about investments, and being patient, but it set me on a path where money began to work for me. This strategy also means developing financial education so you understand how different assets work. The stock market, real estate, businesses, and digital products each have their own rules and opportunities. Learning these rules is like learning the language of ownership. Ownership is powerful because it creates options and freedom. When you own assets, you can generate passive income that supports you, giving you time and choices you wouldn't have otherwise. It's not about becoming rich overnight, but building a foundation that grows steadily over time. Remember, everyone starts somewhere. You don't need to buy a mansion or a large business right away. Even owning a single share or a small rental can be the beginning of your ownership journey. What matters is that you start. The habit of ownership is what separates those who remain paycheck dependent from those who build lasting wealth. In summary, transitioning from earning to ownership is about shifting your focus from exchanging time for money to building assets that produce income. It's about making your money work for you rather than working for your money. Begin by purchasing your first asset, no matter how small, and commit to learning how to grow that ownership. This simple but profound change can alter the course of your financial life forever. Start today, because owning is the key that opens the door to lasting wealth. I've seen many people start with enthusiasm, promising themselves they'll save more, spend less, or invest wisely. Yet these are often just resolutions, temporary bursts of willpower that fade as life's distractions return. Wealth, however, is the product of habits repeated over time. It's the routine that turns small actions into big results through the power of compounding. Think about the way the sun rises every day without fail. You don't need to remind it or push it to show up. It's the same with building wealth. The routine, the daily disciplines, the small, consistent actions, they accumulate, and before you know it, you have a mountain of financial success built quietly under the surface. The philosophy is simple. Wealth is the result of what you do repeatedly, day in and day out. That's why the focus shouldn't be on grand plans, but on creating and maintaining daily rituals that bring you closer to your financial goals. A practical step to put this into motion is to establish a morning money routine. Spend the first 10 to 15 minutes of your day reviewing your spending, checking your progress toward your financial goals, and studying something new about money or investing. This small, deliberate habit ensures you stay connected to your financial life, making smarter decisions and staying motivated every single day. I remember when I first committed to a daily financial routine. It started with simply tracking what I spent and reading a few pages about wealth-building strategies. Over time, those minutes added up to a deep understanding and consistent improvement. It's like planting seeds every morning, each small effort watering the ground for future growth. By setting up these routines, you are turning your financial goals from distant dreams into daily realities. You create an environment where wealth building becomes natural, not a struggle. The routine is the engine that drives your financial journey. So, remember this. Don't wait for motivation to strike or for the perfect moment to start. The magic is in showing up every day and doing the small things that compound over time. Your morning money routine can be your secret weapon, your path from intention to financial freedom. Start today and let your routine carry you forward. Wealth waits for no one, but it grows for those who nurture it daily. We often treat success like some mysterious force, something that happens to others but eludes us. But here's a truth that changed everything for me. Success is not a mystery. It's a formula. It's predictable when you plan for it and follow through consistently. Wealth doesn't just appear by chance. It is the result of careful preparation, clear direction, and deliberate action. In my early years, I struggled with the notion that wealth was reserved for a lucky few or those born into privilege. But as I grew, I discovered that behind every success story, there was a plan, a map, a strategy that guided decisions and kept efforts aligned with the goal. This taught me that wealth is not random. It is the product of applying proven principles consistently over time. Philosophically, wealth is like a garden. You can't just scatter seeds anywhere and hope for a bountiful harvest. You prepare the soil, plant with intention, water regularly, and protect the young shoots. Planning your financial journey is just like that, nurturing growth with purposeful steps. One of the greatest shifts you can make in your financial life is to commit your goals and strategies to paper. When you write down your plan, you give it power. You turn vague hopes into clear targets. And clarity creates confidence and action. Start by creating a one-year financial plan. Outline what you want to achieve in savings, maybe an emergency fund or a new investment. Set income targets that push you but are realistic, aligned with your skills and opportunities. Include education milestones, because knowledge is the fuel that drives financial success. This could be a book you'll read each month, a course you'll complete, or time set aside to learn about investing or business. The plan becomes your personal compass. When decisions come your way, you measure them against your written goals. It helps you say no to distractions and yes to opportunities that align with your vision. I remember when I first took the time to write my own financial plan. At first it felt uncomfortable. Putting numbers and deadlines on my dreams made them real and accountable. But as I stuck to that plan, month after month, I watched my wealth grow predictably. It wasn't magic. It was a formula unfolding. The beauty of this approach is that success stops being a hope and becomes a predictable outcome. When you know where you're going, the path gets clearer and the steps become easier. So, don't leave your financial future to chance or guesswork. Take control. Write your plan. Review it regularly and act on it. Your wealth is waiting, ready to be built by your hands through the power of planning and persistence. I want to talk to you about something that often goes unnoticed in the quest for wealth: intentional living. You see, many people drift through life hoping things will get better, hoping money will somehow show up, or that luck will find them. But drifting is the surest way to scarcity. Without direction, without purpose, your resources scatter like leaves in the wind, and abundance slips through your fingers. Philosophically, wealth is not just about money. It's about how you live. It begins the moment you decide to live with intention. To understand this, imagine your money as your employees. If you let them wander aimlessly, they won't produce. But when you assign them clear roles and responsibilities, they work with purpose, efficiency, and create growth. This is where the power of budgeting comes in. Budgeting is not about restriction or deprivation. It's about giving every dollar a job, a mission. Whether you have $100 or $10,000, every dollar can be directed to serve a purpose, whether that's covering expenses, saving for the future, investing, or giving. I learned early in my life that living without a plan for my money was like sailing without a compass. It didn't matter how much wind filled my sails if I had no course. But when I began assigning each dollar a specific task, even when resources were tight, everything changed. I wasn't just surviving, I was building. Your practical step is simple. Set a budget, even if it's modest. Allocate every dollar on paper before it's spent. This process forces clarity and discipline. You begin to see where money goes and how to make it work for you. This intentional living creates a mindset of abundance. You start seeing opportunities rather than limitations because you're in control. You stop wondering where your money disappeared to at the end of the month because you already knew its destination from the start. Remember, wealth is a byproduct of how well you manage what you have and the clarity with which you live. Intentional living is the foundation. It's the soil from which your financial success grows. When you live with purpose, your money begins to work for you rather than you working for money. So today, decide to live intentionally. Start assigning every dollar a job. In doing so, you create the fertile ground for abundance to flourish. This is where wealth truly begins. I want to share with you a truth that changed the way I look at money. It's not just about cutting back, it's about stepping up. You see, many people believe that to get ahead financially, they have to squeeze every last penny out of their expenses. They become experts at budgeting, cutting corners, and scrimping. And while that wisdom is important, it alone won't set you free. Because true financial freedom comes not from how little you spend, but from how much you earn. Philosophically, this is a critical shift in mindset. Frugality is like tightening the belt. It helps, but it only goes so far. Increasing your earning potential, on the other hand, expands the belt altogether. It opens up new doors, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Freedom means having options, and options come from more income, not just less spending. I learned this firsthand. Early in my career, I was focused solely on how to cut expenses. I clipped coupons, canceled memberships, and avoided luxuries. But no matter how tight I tightened the belt, my financial stress remained. It wasn't until I began exploring ways to earn more, starting a side hustle, sharpening skills, and seeking additional income streams, that my financial picture began to transform. The practical step here is to start a weekend side hustle or a project aligned with your talents or passions. This doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. Maybe it's tutoring, consulting, selling a product, or offering a service you know well. What matters is that you leverage what you already have inside you to create additional income. This approach builds two things: income and confidence. As you see your earnings grow, your mindset shifts from scarcity to abundance. You realize you're not trapped by your paycheck. You can increase your financial power by increasing your value. Remember, cutting expenses can help you survive, but increasing income is what allows you to thrive. So, don't just tighten your belt, work on expanding your earnings. That's the pathway to true financial freedom. Start small. Start today. Find one way to earn more this week, even if it's just a little. Because when you learn to earn more, you're no longer limited by what you spend, you're empowered by what you create. When I look back over the years, one lesson stands out clearer than most. Time is the most precious currency you will ever hold. You see, money can come and go. You can earn it back, you can lose it, but time, once it's spent, it's gone forever. And that truth has profound implications on how we think about wealth. Philosophically, we must begin to treat our time with the same care and respect that we give to our money. Often people protect their wallets fiercely, watching every penny. Yet they casually allow their time to slip through their fingers, wasted on things that bring little or no return. The irony is that while money can buy back time, once time is lost, no amount of money can buy it again. In my own journey, I've seen how the simple decision to protect my time changed everything. Early on, I was like many, working hard but scattered, spending hours on tasks that didn't move the needle on my financial or personal growth. It wasn't until I started auditing my days, tracking how I spent every hour, that I realized just how much time was wasted on distractions, unproductive habits, or activities that simply didn't serve my long-term goals. That realization birthed a simple but powerful strategy. Cut out the dead weight of wasted time and reinvest those hours into wealth creation activities. Whether that's learning a new skill, building a business, networking, or simply planning your finances, every hour redirected becomes a seed planted in the soil of your future prosperity. The practical step I recommend is this. Once a week, sit down with a notebook or a timer and review your past 7 days. Ask yourself, where did I lose time? What activities gave me little return? What hours could I have better spent? Then make a commitment to cut out at least 5 hours of waste in the upcoming week. Replace those lost hours with activities that multiply your results. Remember, time is the raw material of wealth. Guard it, honor it, and use it wisely. Protect your time like you protect your wallet, because when you do, you'll find your life richer, not just in dollars, but in fulfillment and opportunity. This isn't just advice, it's a call to action. How will you protect your time starting today? As we come to the close of this journey together, it's important to step back and see the full picture of what it truly means to move from scarcity to wealth. Wealth is not some magical destination where luck drops bags of money in your lap. It is the natural outcome of deliberate choices, consistent actions, and disciplined systems built over time. It is the fruit borne by the seeds of daily habits, personal growth, and wise stewardship. If you've been struggling financially, feeling stuck in that paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, or wondering why money always seems to slip through your fingers, remember this: the way you think about money, the routines you build, and the respect you show to your time and resources, these are the real architects of your financial future. First, never forget that your income is limited by your personal development. To earn more, you must become more. This means investing in yourself every single day. Whether it's 30 minutes of reading, learning, or stretching your skills, this is the foundation. It's not enough to want wealth. You must grow into a person worthy of it. This is a shift in mindset, understanding that wealth is less about chasing money and more about chasing growth, character, and discipline. Next, the habits you form are the building blocks of your financial life. You cannot expect to break free from scarcity if you cling to bad money habits. It's not enough to resist temptation. You have to replace old patterns with new wealth-building behaviors. Start small. Replace impulse spending with investing in knowledge. Replace fear with curiosity. These small choices add up. As you discipline your habits, you create a strong foundation that can support financial success regardless of your income level. Speaking of income, wealth is not measured by how much money comes in, but by how much you keep, grow, and manage wisely. To break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, you must create a buffer, a safety net that cushions you from life's surprises and gives you peace of mind. Begin by saving your first $500 emergency fund, even if it means cutting back in just one area for a short time. That's your first step toward control. Then, build a wealth routine. Daily disciplines determine your destiny. Spending just 15 minutes a day reviewing your finances and learning something new about money compounds over months and years. Remember, success is often a handful of simple disciplines practiced consistently. Don't overlook the power of the routine. The magic truly is in the daily grind. But wealth is not just about earning income. It's about building cash flow, creating assets that pay you repeatedly without trading more time for money. The transition from earning to ownership is vital. Whether it's buying your first share of stock, investing in real estate, or creating a digital product that generates income, start owning assets that work for you. That shift will change everything. Another essential piece is managing your money like a business. Track your net worth, not just your paycheck. Know exactly where you stand each month. When you watch your assets grow and debts shrink, you gain clarity and confidence. And don't forget the language of money. Learn the rules. Study taxes, compounding, investing. Financial literacy is the key to breaking free from financial ignorance and building lasting wealth. One often overlooked but powerful principle is protecting your time, like your most valuable currency. Time is the raw material of wealth. Wasting it is wasting potential. By auditing your time weekly, cutting out dead hours, and reinvesting those hours into activities that grow your skills or income, you multiply your ability to create wealth.